Genghis Khan Temujin Borjigid, a military leader and commander, a unifier of many lands, the founder of an empire and a just ruler. This is how the conqueror Genghis Khan is called. According to researchers, he was several steps ahead of his era, creating a society based on merit. In his homeland he is revered as a great ancestor and founder of the nation, and by some he is revered as a deity. The famous warrior forever changed the fate of his country and the world, playing a special role in the history of mankind. Childhood and youth. The commander known as Genghis Khan was born in Mongolia. According to various sources, in 1155 or 1162. This man's real name was Temujin, which meant blacksmith. He was born in the Delian Bolduc tract. His father was Yasuge Bagatora, and his mother was Holin. It is noteworthy that Holin was engaged to another man, but Yasuge Bagatora recaptured his beloved from his rival. Temujin received his name in honor of the Tatar Temujin Uge. Yasuge defeated this leader shortly before his son made his first cry. Temujin lost his father early. At the age of 9, he was betrothed to 10-year-old Borte from a different family. Yasuge decided to leave his son in the bride's house until they both reached adulthood. On the way back, Genghis Khan's father stopped at a Tatar camp, where he was poisoned. 3 days later Yasuge died. After this, dark times came for Temujin, his mother, Yasuge's second wife, as well as the brothers of the future great commander. The head of the clan drove the family from their usual place and took away all the livestock that belonged to them. After some time, the Taichiat leader, who drove out Temujin's family and proclaimed himself the owner of all the lands conquered by Yasuge, began to fear revenge from Yasuge's grown-up son. He sent an armed detachment against the family's camp. The guy escaped, but was soon caught up, captured and placed in a wooden block. Genghis Khan was saved by his own ingenuity and the intercession of several representatives of another tribe. Coming to power, Temujin, as the son of a leader, aspired to power. At first he needed support, and he turned to the Karait Khan Toril. He was Yasuge's brother in arms and agreed to unite with him. Thus began the story that led Temujin to the title of Genghis Khan. He raided neighboring settlements, increasing his possessions and, oddly enough, his army. Other Mongols during battles sought to kill as many opponents as possible. Temujin, on the contrary, sought to leave as many warriors alive as possible in order to lure them to himself. The young commander's first serious battle took place against the Merkit tribe, who were allied with the same Taichiats. They even kidnapped Temujin's wife, but he, together with Toril and another ally from another tribe, Jamuka, defeated their opponents and regained his wife. Later, his comrades defeated the Tatars, and Genghis Khan received not only booty, but also the honorary title of military commissar, Jothari. Genghis Khan on the eve of the decisive battle with the joint troops of Jamuka and Wang Khan in 1202. The commander independently carried out another raid on the Tatars. At the same time, he again decided to act differently from what was customary in those days. Temujin stated that during the battle his Mongols should not capture booty, since all of it would be divided between them only after the end of the battle. The future great ruler won in this battle, after which he ordered the execution of the Tatars as retribution for the Mongols whom they killed. Only small children were left alive. There were also feuds between the commanders. So, in 1203, Temujin and Jamuka with Wang Khan met face to face. The outcome of the battle was to determine the fate of the winner, who would become the ruler of the steppes of Mongolia. At first, the Ulus of the future Genghis Khan suffered losses, but due to the injury of Wang Khan's son, the opponents retreated. Great Khan in 1206, Temujin received the title of Great Khan over all the Mongol tribes and took the name Genghis, which translates as, Lord of the Endless in the Sea. It was obvious that his role in the history of the Mongolian steppes was enormous, as was his army, and no one else dared to challenge him. This benefited Mongolia. If previously local tribes constantly fought with each other and raided neighboring settlements, now they became like a full-fledged state, divided into uluses. And if before this Mongolian nationality was invariably associated with strife and blood loss, now, with unity and power. Genghis Khan and his sons Genghis Khan wanted to leave behind a legacy not only as a conqueror, but also as a wise ruler. He introduced his own law, which, among other things, spoke of mutual assistance on a campaign and forbade deceiving someone who trusted. These moral principles were required to be strictly observed, otherwise the violator could face execution. The commander mixed tribes and peoples, and no matter what tribe the family belonged to, its adult men were considered warriors of Genghis Khan's detachment. As a result, the army consisted of 150,000 infantry and 80,000 horsemen. They had excellent physical fitness. Thus, army archers were able to shoot while galloping in different directions, turning 180 degrees. Conquests of Genghis Khan between 1207 and 11, the army of the great ruler subjugated the peoples of Siberia and forced them to pay tribute to Genghis Khan. But the commander was not going to stop there, he wanted to conquer China. In 1213, he invaded the Chinese state of Jin, establishing rule over the local province of Liaodong. Throughout the entire route of Genghis Khan and his army, Chinese troops surrendered to him without a fight, and some even went over to his side. By the fall of 1213, the Mongol ruler had strengthened his position along the Great Wall of China. Then he sent 3 powerful armies, led by his sons and brothers, to different regions of the Jin Empire. Some settlements surrendered to him almost immediately, others fought until 1235. However, as a result, the Tatar-Mongol yoke spread throughout China at that time. But even the conquest of China could not force Genghis Khan to stop the invasion. Having achieved success in battles with his closest neighbors, he became interested in Central Asia and the fertile Semirchye. In 1213, the ruler of this region became the fugitive Naiman Khan Kuchluk, who made a political miscalculation by starting persecution of followers of Islam. As a result, the rulers of several settled tribes in Semirchye voluntarily announced that they agreed to be subjects of Genghis Khan. Subsequently, Mongol troops conquered other regions of Semirchye, allowing Muslims to perform religious services and thereby arousing sympathy among the local population. Genghis Khan hated betrayal, so after the Persians brutally murdered the Mongol ambassador, he dealt with the people inhabiting what is now Iran. Up to 90% of the country's population was destroyed, and the size of the state never reached its previous level until the 20th century. The Mongol Empire is considered the largest unified state in history. If you look at the map, it stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. The area of its territory was 20 million square meters. km. Personal life. In Genghis Khan's personal life there were 3 women, the previously mentioned Borte, as well as his second wife Kulan Khatun and his third Tatar wife Yasugin, who bore him 16 children. Among other things, according to legend, the commander owned a harem of thousands. Numerous descendants of Genghis Khan, his brothers, children and grandchildren became statesmen and tried to preserve their conquests. The ruler's son prepared a campaign against Europe, but the army was unable to pass through the territory of modern Hungary. Wet weather prevented it, due to which the area was very swampy. This campaign was led by his grandson, Batu Khan. The descendants of the dynasty through the 4 sons of the ruler from his first wife Borte ruled until 1920. The first prime minister of the state also belonged to an ancient family. Death. In the last year of his life, the commander undertook a campaign to conquer the Tangut kingdom, whose army he managed to defeat. The military leader died shortly before the capitulation of Zhongxing, the capital of the region. The causes of Genghis Khan's death are various. A fall from a horse, a sudden illness, the inability to adapt to the difficult climate of another country. This happened in 1227, on August 18 or 25. It is still not known exactly where the grave of the great conqueror is located. There are a number of legends about how and where the burial took place. According to one version, 40 virgins and 40 horses were buried with the great Mongol so that his afterlife would be happy. Genghis Khan. According to the chronicler of the 17th century, the burial site was Burkhan Khaldan. According to other researchers, the northern slope of Altai Khan or the southern slope of Kente Khan. The name of the area Yeki Utek also sounded. In addition, there is a legend according to which Genghis Khan himself ordered the flooding of his tomb. In any case, there is a belief that after the grave is found and opened, a difficult war will begin in the world. The Great Khan's inheritance amounted to 500 tons of gold and 3,000 tons of silver. But it disappeared after the son of Genghis Khan came to power. The treasure with ingots of precious metals was never found. According to legend, it was hidden in 7. According to legend, Genghis Khan was born with a blood clot in his palm, which was considered a good sign. According to researchers, the commander is responsible for the deaths of 40 million people. As a child, the future ruler killed his half-brother Bektar, with whom he had a conflict over the division of spoils. During the heyday of the empire, an alphabet appeared in the country. The Mongols borrowed it from the Uyghurs, who were captured after the conquest of the Nayman, where the former were engaged in written records. The family tree of the commander today covers the period starting from the 5th century. It represents famous ancestors from the ruler's family. Another Khan, Tamerlane, who lived in Central Asia in the 14th century and had a similar biography, was considered equal to the great Mongol in ambitions and conquests.